Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another awesome session of mindful living. We truly appreciate your taking out the time and joining the session today. I promise you that this investment of 60 to 90 minutes will definitely be worth your while. The month of December is a special one. Would you like to type in the chat? Why is the month of December special? There are no right or wrong answers. Please share with us what makes December special for you. You may unmute and speak as well.
Hi, Ashish, Kanika here.
Hi, Kanika, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, very well.
Okay, so December is super special for me because I feel utmost gratitude during this month, and also I'm looking forward to a new year.
Excellent.
There's a lot to really introspect and really to look forward.
Yeah,
So it's a
absolutely.
culmination of both the things.
Very well
Thank
said. Yeah, it brings us to the close of the year and it sets us up for a solid start for the next year. So December, that's one of the reasons December is special. There is Christmas, and as Minesh shared, it is also the month when we celebrate Gita Mahotsav. And Gita, Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavad Gita is considered to be one of the foremost uh, spiritual scriptures. It contains all of the essence of all the Vedas, Purans, and Upanishad. I got introduced to Bhagavad Gita when I was a kid, and my grandmother would have me in her lap while she would chant these slokas. As I grew up, I read it as a child. I won't say I understood it, but I remember very distinctively reading the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Uh, my interest really got deepened when I came across this book by Swami Paramans Yoganand, which is a brilliant commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And that's when I started realizing that Bhagavad Gita is a great book on psychology of success. It starts, as you know, when Arjun is in the battlefield and he says, Arjun is one of the finest warriors in the world, and he says, Krishna, मेरे हाथ कांप रहे हैं, मेरा मुंह सूख रहा है, मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए हैं, मेरे पैर कांप रहे हैं, और मेरे हाथ से धनुष स्लिप हो रहा है. So that is the state. So irrespective of how skilled we may be, we all have this situation when we feel nervous and we tend to lose it. So that's when Krishna gives, and I'm just making this simple. Then that's my takeaway, from the Bhagavad Gita, and each one has their own. I'm not saying this is what you should go ahead with, but my takeaway is from what Krishna says: do your duty and leave the rest, leave the outcome to me. And this message, while it sounds very simple, is very profound. And this is the stuff champions are made of. When we are focused on what is it that we can do in every single moment, every single time, whether we are down or up, we're just focused on doing what we can do. This is the stuff, on which is the foundation of resilience and so many other things. So that's the power of Bhagavad Gita. The I can just keep going on talking about it, but this is very, very powerful stuff. And I am a student, and I would say I am a pre-primary student of Bhagavad Gita. And today we have the master, who is Mr. Prasun Kundu, along with Sandhya, who's going to take us through what Bhagavad Gita is. They have been doing some deep work in the area of Bhagavad Gita, and they'll be sharing their insights with us. Uh, uh, So Sandhya has been a corporate professional working with companies like Tulip Software, Ask Me, and Applied Biosystems and Life Technologies. She's co-founder of Hone ST Solutions and has been doing great work in the area of teaching Bhagavad Gita, training Bhagavad Gita, and also on chanting Bhagavad Gita. She is accompanied by Prasun Kundu, who has worked with leading organizations like Nestle India, Reliance Retail, Idea Cellular, and McCormick. He's the founder of Hone ST Solutions and has done a lot of work in corporate trainings in Bhagavad Gita. And together they have this mission of Ghar Ghar Gita. So on that note, we will invite Prasun and Sandhya to take the session forward. But before I hand over the session to them, I'll take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar, and I'm the founder of Mindful Living Community. We started this community in April 2020 when the first lockdown happened. Few of my friends reached out to me and requested me to conduct mindfulness sessions for them to help them deal with the stress and anxiety that first lockdown was causing. I did a session for them over a weekend. One thing led to the other, and that initial group of 10 friends has now grown to be a vibrant community of over 3,000 people. You can only join this community if someone invites you to join. We don't advertise about it anywhere. So with open heart and open arms, I invite you to join this community. The link we are sharing in the chat. It's a no-nonsense community, no good morning, good night messages, no religious or political posts. And this is a group of professionals who are sincere about learning and practicing mindfulness and sharing it with each other. So I invite you to join the community. Also, please take a couple of seconds. If you think this session is going to help your friends and family, earn some good merit for yourself by sharing this message with others in your friend circle, in your network, who can join the session and benefit from it. Keep your cameras on as it facilitates interaction. We'll be doing some chanting, so it'll be good to have your cameras on. And before I hand over to Prasunji and Sandhya, I'll request you to make a mental note of the energy level you currently are at. You don't need to tell us, but just make a note, whether it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 0, whatever. What is the energy level you are feeling? How are you feeling right now? Just make a mental note of it, and we will revisit that number at the end of the session. So on that note, I'll invite Prasunji and Sandhyaji to take the session forward.
Namaskar. Hari Om. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. तो कोई भी अच्छा काम शुरू करने से पहले प्रार्थना करते हैं और उसके बाद शुरू करेंगे. 3 बार ओम चैंट करेंगे और उसके बाद प्रेयर्स करेंगे. अगर किसी को प्रेयर्स पता हो तो हमारे साथ करिएगा, अगर नहीं पता हो तो सुनिएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ओम चैंट करेंगे 3 बार पहले. Close your eyes and chant with us. You can unmute your audio. Om. Om. Om Sahana
भवतु सहनो
Bhunaktu
भुनक्तु सह
Saha
वीर्यं
Viryan
करवावहै
Karavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा
मा
विद्विषावहै।
विद्विषावहै।
ओम
ॐ
शांति
शान्ति
शांति
शान्ति
शांति।
शान्तिः।
समस्त जन कल्याणे
जनकल्याणे
निरतं
निरतं
करुणामयम्
करुणामयम्
नमामि
नमामि
चिन्मयं
चिन्मयं
देवम्
देवं
सद्गुरुं
सद्गुरुं
ब्रह्मविद्वरम्।
ब्रह्मविद्
ॐ पार्थाय
पार्थाय
प्रतिबोधितां
प्रतिबोधितां
भगवता
भगवता
नारायणेन
नारायणेन
स्वयं
स्वयं
व्यासेन
व्यासेन
ग्रथितां
ग्रथितां
पुराणमुनिना
पुराणमुनिना
मध्ये
मध्ये
महाभारतम्
महाभारतम्
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं
भगवती
भगवतीम्
अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्
अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्
अम्ब
अम्ब
त्वामनुसन्दधामि
त्वामनुसन्दधामि
भगवद्गीते
भगवद्गीते
भवद्वेषिणि।
भवद्वेषिणि।
हरि ओम। So welcome to the session, everyone. Please allow me to share my screen. तो आज का सेशन भगवत गीता चैंटिंग के बारे में है। और जैसा आशीष जी ने बोला कि दिसंबर का जो महीना है गीता जयंती में मनाया जाता है। पूरा अलग अलग दिसंबर में अलग अलग डेट्स पे आता है। अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं आइस ब्रेकर से। कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे, आप या तो चैट में जवाब दे सकते हैं, आप बोल भी सकते हैं, डायरेक्ट अनम्यूट करके बोलिएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। सो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ भगवत गीता? एनीवन?
A song by from the God himself or the Bhagwan.
Absolutely. So Bhagavat is भगवान एंड गीत इज भगवान के द्वारा गाया हुआ गीत। तो भगवान से मुख के निकली हुई वाणी इज भगवत गीत, भगवत गीता। ग्रेट, एक्सीलेंट। So how many of you have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita at home?
Half
So,
of us.
sorry?
I think everyone would have. I have.
Okay, great. So in the chat, anyone else is coming in the chat? Minesh says yes. Song of life. Song of the God, not the life. इनफैक्ट भगवत गीत का अभी मैं वो पढ़ के समझ, वो अमित शाह ने जो लिखा कि इट इज द सॉन्ग ऑफ द गॉड। तो महात्मा गांधी, एक मुझे ट्रिविया याद आ गया, मैंने कहा आप लोगों से शेयर कर देता हूँ कि महात्मा गांधी जब भगवत गीता पहली बार पढ़ना शुरू किए तब वो अंग्रेजी में पढ़ रहे थे एक किताब जिसका नाम था द सॉन्ग सेलेस्टियल, और लिखा था एरविन आर्नोल्ड ने। So he was reading the Bhagavad Gita in English, written by Erwin Arnold, which was called the Song Celestial. और तब वो यूके में होते थे, लंदन में होते थे। और लंदन में क्या था कि जब वो गए थे, पोरबंदर के ब्राह्मण फैमिली से थे, तो वो वेजिटेरियन खाना ढूंढ रहे थे, वेजिटेरियन खाना उनको कहीं मिल नहीं रहा था। Then he was introduced to a theosophical society in London, and where he met like-minded people and more importantly vegetarian food. तो उनमें से दो लोग थे जर्मनी के, ऑलकुट ब्रदर्स, दो भाई थे ऑलकुट नाम के, और वो लोग भगवत गीता तब संस्कृत में पढ़ रहे थे। और उनको एक श्लोक में कहीं कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था। उन्होंने कहा महात्मा गांधी तो भारत के, इसको तो पता ही होगा संस्कृत में। तो वो महात्मा गांधी से पूछने आए कि इसका मतलब क्या होता है। और महात्मा गांधी has gone on record in his autobiography saying that उन्होंने जिस दिन मुझसे पूछा उस दिन मुझे पता नहीं था, and that was the most shameful day of my life. फिर मैंने सोचा कि मैं अब भगवत गीता संस्कृत में ही पढ़ूंगा, समझूंगा, जिससे कि अगर वो पढ़ सकते हैं जो जर्मनी में बैठे हैं, तो मैं क्यों नहीं पढ़ सकता. So all of us have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita at home. Great. So how many of you have read it? The Bhagavad Gita. In the chat. So Ashish ji said he has read it. Sandhya says for obvious reasons she has read it. Kanika says she has read it. Anyone else who has read the Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So how many of you can read it fluently? Read it fluently, the way it is written. In the chat, can only read in English. Yes. Okay. Okay. So very few people have responded having read the Bhagavad Gita or reading the Bhagavad Gita can read most words in Sanskrit. Wow, great. Great. Let me ask you another question. Is reading the original Sanskrit text important? How many of you feel that reading the original Sanskrit text is important? Garima says yes. Ashiji says yes, it is. But with meanings. Okay. Mamta says but with meanings. Anyone else? Minesh says yes. Okay. Thank you for your responses. Sandhya says yes, absolutely. Okay, great. Okay, so quite a few of us believe that reading in the original Sanskrit text is important. Mamta says that it should have the meanings also. Okay, that's good. Who should read the Bhagavad Gita? आपको क्या लगता है भगवत गीता किसको पढ़ना चाहिए? किसको पढ़ना चाहिए? बच्चों को पढ़ना चाहिए, बड़ों को पढ़ना चाहिए? Garima says everyone. Ashish ji says everyone, everyone. So what I decipher is everyone meaning any age group. Is that right? So everyone is any age group. People should engage with the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Great. Now the last question. Why should one read the Bhagavad Gita? Why should one read the Bhagavad Gita? So all of us says that should be read. Everyone should read. Why? To elevate oneself. Okay. To anchor life. What do you mean? Can you elaborate on this, Kanika? Interesting one.
So can I speak instead of typing so much?
Yeah, sure. Please
Prefer
go ahead.
that. For me, I feel that anchoring life is important, and anchoring it to the wisdom within is important, and that's what I think Gita introduces us to really go within and look at the potential and answers within, and the way different things are communicated in that. So for me, it has always anchored my life whenever I've gone back to Gita.
Okay, great. Find purpose of life, Mamta says. So Mamta, can you elaborate on this, please, for the benefit of everyone?
Yes, I am a novice though, but to me, Bhagavad Gita means the way of life, and to me, it has given the real meaning. Like I never knew what is the purpose of my life, and many of the events made me think about why this life has to be led, and how it has to be led. So Gita is a real mentor for me, and of course, I can recommend everybody to read and understand the way of life.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you so much. So let me give you my perspective. So everyone of us have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita at home. And during our interactions with, we have engaged with more than 5,000 people with the Bhagavad Gita in corporates and as individuals. And we have come to know one thing, and we can say it with quite a lot of conviction now, that Bhagavad Gita is there at every home. That's very, very clear. But most of the people have not read it. Or they read it, but they can't read it that fluently. In fact, I'll just quote cite an example. I was having some pain in my shoulder, and I went to a physiotherapist, and there was a Bhagavad Gita lying on her table. And I told her that, I asked her that, do you read the Bhagavad Gita? Yes, she said, yeah, I read it daily. So I asked her, how do you read it? Okay, and for her to read one shlok was a nightmare. So for her to read one shlok with me was a nightmare. And then I chanted that shlok, and I told her that we read it this way. And then she said that I would like to learn it from you, because I also want to read it the way you are reading. Okay. So knowing one thing, because what happens is, if I don't know how to read a particular text in the original text or the original language, what happens is, how many of you are multilingual? How many of you know more than one language? Most of us, isn't it? So most of us know more than one language, and every language has an essence of itself. Every language has an essence. So I can convey something in a particular language only. So for example, I'll tell you, in case there is some Marathi people here speaking Marathi, if you have seen, there was one wicket keeper, Kiran More, in the Indian team, and he will say "aiga" if there was something that happened. Now, how do you translate "aiga" in other languages? Or try speaking, cracking a joke in your language, the language that you know, in some other language. People, instead of laughing, may start crying, because the essence of the language does not pass with translations. And what happens with translations, one more thing is, I start reading a particular text from the perspective of someone else. Okay, so it may or it may not reverberate with me, because that the perspective of the translator and my perspective may match, may not match. And that is where a lot of people, they give up reading the Bhagavad Gita, saying that अभी मेरा टाइम नहीं आया है, जब मेरा टाइम आएगा तब मैं इसको पढ़ूंगा, because बोलते बहुत ही जटिल सब्जेक्ट है. And for us it is not too much. The experience that we have, कि अगर हम इसको जटिल बनाना चाहें तो ये जटिल बना रहेगा, इसको हम सिंप्लीफाई करना चाहें तो हम वो सिंप्लीफाई हो जाएगा. आशीष जी ने जैसे बोला, इट इज साइकोलॉजी ऑफ सक्सेस. सो साइकोलॉजी ऑफ सक्सेस, the definition of success per se is different for different people, isn't it? So if I ask you a simple question, who is the most successful person in India? So what will be your response? Quickly, who is the most successful person in India? And you can unmute and tell me. Unmute and answer. Who's the most successful person is in India? So Ashish ji says Mukesh Ambani. Okay. Narendra Modi. Okay. Anyone else? You can unmute and say. Okay. Not a problem. So success, like Ashish ji said, that Mukesh Ambani. Now, and that is how we weigh success in our life. We weigh success in terms of money. So person who has money, who has power, we weigh success in that. Okay. So definition for someone else will be the most knowledgeable man in India is the most successful man. Okay. For someone else, the most spiritual man in India. Okay. So depending on what you are seeking, depending on what you're seeking, the definition of success also keeps on fluctuating, or it keeps on varying from people to people. So if only in the definition of success there are so many variations that will come, then the same text being translated by so many people, and this is the most translated text in the world, by the way. Bhagavad Gita is the most translated and the most revered subject or the book in the world. So reading in the original Sanskrit text becomes important, because whenever I learn a language, so for example, I want to learn Japanese, okay, they are not going to teach me the sentences straight away. Okay, so they are going to teach me, they are going to introduce me to the alphabets first. They call it kanji. Okay, and then from the alphabets they'll teach me how to form a word, then the meanings of those words. So A for apple, B for bat, C for cat. वो करने के बाद वो एक मेरे को सेंटेंस बना के बोलेंगे कि दिस इज अ बैट, दिस इज अ कैट, दिस इज अ रैट. वो उसके बाद it will form a paragraph, and only then a story can be written. Okay, and that is how we learn languages, and that is how we learn subjects also. The subjects also. So if you even look at, even in school, we call it a primary, secondary, and then higher secondary. Okay. So why that? Because everywhere they are teaching, so the subjects remaining the same: English, Hindi, mathematics, the science, all those remaining the same. Then why elementary, then secondary and higher secondary? And we are investing so much of time in these 17 years minimum it takes for a person to graduate. Okay. And most of the people come and tell us that how fast I can read how I can learn the Bhagavad Gita. So, and our simple thing is how much intent you show to read the Bhagavad Gita and to learn the Bhagavad Gita is the time that you're going to take. So it depends on your need and your intent. So that was it. So let me move ahead. So benefits of the Bhagavad Gita chanting. So we have been associated, or we are engaged in the Bhagavad Gita for the past almost 5 years now. And these are some things that we have felt for ourselves. I thought, let me share it with you. So mantras and shlok give unique power through its correct pronunciation. And I will harp on this word called correct pronunciation, because correct pronunciation is very, very important. If I am able to pronounce something correctly, it will, over a period of time, give me the meanings also. It will start talking with me. And mantra का मतलब क्या होता है? मन का मतलब है mind, and tra का मतलब होता है to protect. Okay, so when I chant the shloks and the mantras, it protects my mind. कहने का मतलब है कि it actually enhances my mind from all the distractions that are there. And because the distractions are going to remain, they're not going to go away. In the chapter 7, Bhagwan says, Mama Maya Duratyaya. ये माया तो मेरा ही क्रिएट किया हुआ अर्जुन, और ये तो रहने ही वाला है, मगर इस माया को तर के जो आ जाएगा वो मेरे पास पहुंचेगा, is what he says. So it chanting energizes the brain. It lowers the blood pressure. So whenever you chant, and we will experience this in the last of this session, at the end of this session, we'll experience it for ourselves. Normalizes the heart rate, manages stress, anger, fear, etc. Keeps the mind alert, very much alert. Helps in healing. So we talk about healing. So outer healing, the physical healing is one thing. It helps in healing our inner self also. So someone said that this is for life, the purpose of life. So it helps in healing. Clearer pronunciation, we have discussed on this. Feeling of wellness. So whenever we chant the Bhagavad Gita, or whenever we chant the shlok, in fact, if you look at a lot of people in their household, they just, when they get up in the morning, they just play a bhajan or a shlok or something, Hanuman Chalisa maybe. Why do they do that? Because they want to start the day in a very good note, in a very positive note, isn't it? Why do we do it first thing in the morning? Because we want to start our day on a very positive note. feeling of wellness, creates positive vibrations and removes negative energy. And in the morning, we don't want to get surrounded by negative energy. So we want to create those positive vibrations around us, positive vibration in the atmosphere, positive vibrations inside us, improves concentration and focus. So that's very, very important. And is there a science behind it? So whatever I'm saying, is there a science behind it? So there is a lot of research which has gone into the science behind the chanting and how chanting can affect all of us. So I'll share only some and then we'll deliberate on it. Chanting creates positive sound, and there is a scientific evidence on the effect of positive and negative sound on the structure of water molecules. There are a lot of experiments which have been done. Plants, crops, human brains, and animals. In fact, in China, they had carried out a research where in a field they had planted two plants, and on one plant there were some mantras which are getting chanted. And you know what the yield of that plant was? 15% higher than the other one, where the chanting was not happening. So the water molecules, they are affected by positive and negative sounds accordingly. So it affects the plants, crops, human brains, and animals. And let us remember that our body comprises 70% water. So if we are 70% water, and if we want to get positive vibes or positive energies, then we have to listen to something that can give us that positive energy. And chanting is something that gives you, that fills you with a huge, huge, huge positive energy. Studies in humans have shown decrease in blood pressure. There is a lot of study which has been done. Increase alpha wave production, which improves sleeps and better health. A stress-free mind can keep the body healthy. Because improved sleep is the best medicine. A lot of people are saying these days. MRI scans of the human brain in groups who grew up chanting from young age showed that the gray matter is significantly higher and the cortex was thicker. The hippocampus regions were much more pronounced, which means that their short-term memory, their long-term memory, their decision-making ability, and their emotional intelligence all were much higher. So that is something which is because of chanting, and it is scientifically proven. Even if we listen to the chants without understanding the meaning, it still has an impact on the system, even by listening to the chants. And Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita also, in the chapter 18, shlok number 70 says, Adheshyate chaya imam dharmyam sambhadam avayoho. He says that even if someone listens to the ये तेरे मेरे बीच का धर्म संवाद कोई केवल सुनेगा, अर्जुन केवल पढ़ेगा, तो मैं ज्ञान यज्ञ से पूजित होऊंगा, ऐसा मेरा मत है. वो ऐसा बोलते हैं भगवान अर्जुन को. Okay, so even without understanding, if we listen, and then he says श्रद्धावान अनसूयस्य शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तस्य भान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्य कर्मणाम्. बोलते श्रद्धा से जो केवल सुनेगा, श्रद्धावान अनसूयस्य शृणुयादपि यो नरः, कोई व्यक्ति जो केवल सुनेगा वो भी उन पुण्य कर्मों को प्राप्त करेगा जो बाकी लोग करते हैं. Is what he says. Only listening. It was found that temperature of the energy centers called chakras in yoga. I hope all of us are aware of the 7 chakras which are there in the chakra जो हमारी बॉडी में होते हैं. तो ये जो 7 चक्र हैं उनके बारे में पता होगा. So the energy centers का टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाता है, gets increased, and there is a direct relationship between how energy was transferred through chants into the body. This is only mere chanting. I am not got into the subject. It is just the chanting that helps us do this. When we are not feeling good, just chanting for a few minutes will lift our life force or prana shakti. Just chanting, whenever you're feeling low, There are certain shloks we'll discuss at the end of this deliberation. We will give it to you. Just remember them, and whenever you're feeling low, just chant one of them and see the difference and feel the difference for yourself. Prana Shakti, and when the Prana Shakti is high, we feel energized, happy, positive, and full of life. We take everything as a challenge and not as a problem. So there is a difference between challenge and a problem. So we take everything as a challenge and not as a problem. We feel generous. We feel like helping others. We feel like being kind, being and loving, because we are connecting to something which is much higher, much higher. And when we connect with something which is much higher, we start behaving as if we are much higher in our life. So we start feeling generous. We feel like helping others, being kind and being empathetic, being loving to people and things and beings. And if we chant with the awareness of the body and mind and with the reverence, the effect multiplies. The effect multiplies. So it has to be in sync. My body, my mind, and my devotion. Everything will have to be in sync, and the effect multiplies. Multiplies many folds. So this is, I'm not saying there's some research, there's a lot of papers that I read. I'm just giving you one of the sources where you can go and find out. So keep chanting. So keep chanting. So how many of you would like to experience the chanting vibes with us? You can type yes in the chat box, or if you don't, you can type N in the chat box. Okay. Okay, a lot of people are saying yes. Okay, so let's move on. So what we'll do is, in the next 10 minutes, we'll try and chant some shlok. I will also tell you how the shlok is constructed in the Bhagavad Gita. And in the last, I'll give you 5 shlok that will help you in different situations in your life, whatever the situation will be. We'll try and cover that. Okay. So you can unmute and you can chant with us. Let us create those positive vibes in and around us. All of us can unmute. Request if all of us can unmute, and what I'll do is I will chant and you can chant after me, all of you, so that we can feel and see the reverberations that it creates in your houses. Okay, all ready? Okay, done. Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dhritarashtra uvacha.
थोड़ा तेज बोले, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. No one is going to judge anyone. We are just trying to learn something new. Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dharmakshetre kurukshetre.
Dharmakshetre kurukshetre.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha.
Mamaka pandavaschaiva.
Pandavaschaiva.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
एक बार और करेंगे चैंट. Once more.
Yes, sir.
Okay. एक बार और करते हैं. Okay.
मैं नहीं.
Okay, चलिए. धृतराष्ट्र उवाच. धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे. समवेता युयुत्सवः. मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव. किमकुर्वत संजय. How did you feel?
Good.
Good.
So
Nice,
let me
nice.
tell you.
अच्छा लगा था.
Okay. So let me
Okay,
tell
good.
you how the shlok. See, it is so scientific. The whole of the Bhagavad Gita. ये पूरी भगवत गीता दो उसमें लिखी हुई है, छंद में. छंद है सारे, इसलिए हम गाते हैं. दो छंद में लिखी हुई है, अनुष्टुप छंद और त्रिष्टुप छंद. ओके. तो ये जो श्लोक हम पढ़ रहे हैं ये अनुष्टुप छंद में है. और अनुष्टुप छंद में जो श्लोक होगा उसमें ये जो पहली लाइन है इसको बोलते हैं मीटर. इसको बोलते हैं मीटर, जो पहली लाइन है. ओके. और दूसरी लाइन को बोलते हैं दूसरा मीटर. और ये 1 मीटर में 2 चरण होते हैं. तो अगर आपने ध्यान दिया हो मैं कैसे चैंट कर रहा था, धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे, तो ये पहला चरण हुआ. समवेतायुयुत्सव, ये दूसरा चरण हुआ. मामका पांडवाश्चैव, तीसरा चरण. किमकुर्वत संजय, ये चौथा चरण. ना अगर हम देखें ये जो पहली लाइन है इसमें 16 अक्षर होते हैं. कितने सारे श्लोक में भगवत गीता में जहां जहां पे अनुष्टुप छंद है उसमें पहली लाइन में 16 ही अक्षर होते हैं. सो इट इज दैट साइंटिफिक, जिसमें हम जोड़ाक्षर नहीं गिनते हैं. तो चरण में 8 हुए, तो अगर इसमें 16 है तो चरण में 8 होंगे. हम एक बार गिन लेते हैं. देखिए, ध 1, म 2, श 3, त्र 4, त्र में त पूरा होगा इसलिए वो 4, क 6, र 7, र पे उ की मात्रा है, उ छोटा हो गया, उ आधा हो गया तो वो नहीं गिना जाएगा. और क्ष हो गया 7 और ये त्र हो गया 8. ऐसे ही समवेता युयुत्सव में स हो गया 1, म हो गया 2, व हो गया 3, त हो गया 4, य हो गया 5, फिर यह हो गया 6, त आधा नहीं गिना जाएगा, संयुक्त अक्षर जोड़ाक्षर नहीं गिने जाते. फिर स हो गया 7 और व हो गया 8. पूरी भगवत गीता इस अनुष्टुप छंद में एक एक चरण में 8 अक्षर होंगे और पूरी इसमें जो होंगे मीटर में वो 16 अक्षर ही होंगे. तो एक श्लोक में 32 अक्षर ही होंगे. यू कैन टेक इट. अब आप उसको गिन के देख लीजिएगा, बट पूरे उसमें भगवत गीता में ऐसे ही होगा. तो अनुष्टुप छंद जिस जिस शास्त्र में यूज हुए उनमें ये ऐसे ही रहेगा. आप सोचिए 5000 साल पहले जब भगवान ने बोला, भगवान के मुख की वाणी, और इतना साइंटिफिक. अभी भी अगर हमको कोई बोले कि कोई सेंटेंस बनाओ उसमें इतने अक्षर होने चाहिए, हम शायद ना बना पाए. शायद हम में से काफी लोग ना बना पाए. तो ये हो गया पहला. ये था अनुष्टुप छंद. अभी हम देखते हैं एक त्रिष्टुप. इसमें दूसरा एक और होता है त्रिष्टुप छंद. ओके. तो ये होता है त्रिष्टुप छंद. अब त्रिष्टुप छंद में क्या होता है, इसमें पहला मीटर पहले की 2 लाइन होती है और इसमें पहले मीटर में 22 अक्षर होंगे. अनुष्टुप छंद में 16 थे, इसमें 22 होंगे. तो एक एक चरण में इसमें 11-11 अक्षर होंगे. तो इसमें जो इसका ट्यून होगा चैंट करने का वो भी थोड़ा अलग होता है. तो ये भी एक बार चैंट करते हैं फिर देखते हैं. तैयार है सब? रेडी?
जी.
चलिए. कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावः,
ऑलरेडी
एक
वे
बार और.
ऑलरेडी वे
कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावः, पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेताः, यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे, शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमान् त्वां प्रपन्नम्. तो ये इसका वो हमने पहला वाला कैसे किया था, धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पांडवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत संजय. फिर इस पे जब हम कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्ते हम शादिमान त्वाम प्रपन्नम. So that is how it is chanted. Now एक चीज मैं और आपको बताता हूं, ये जैसे लिखा हुआ है इसको वैसे ही चैंट करना. So कई बार क्या होता है कि हम कोलोक्युअली है ना, कुछ चीजों को आधा बोल जाते हैं. तो जैसे ये कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभाव, ये पूरा जैसा लिखा है हमको वैसे ही बोलना है. जैसे जैसे पृच्छामी म में छोटी ई की मात्रा है, तो छोटी ई की मात्रा है तो म पे छोटी ई की मात्रा सुनाई देनी चाहिए. क्योंकि जो अगर मैं बोल रहा हूं कि और अगर आप लिख रहे हैं तो आप त्रुटि ना करें, आप गलती ना करें, उसकी जिम्मेदारी मेरे ऊपर, उसकी जिम्मेदारी मेरे ऊपर होती है. एंड दैट बिकम्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस टू चैंट करेक्टली एंड विद द राइट प्रोनाउंसिएशन. और वो हमने देखा साइंस भी उसके बारे में क्या बोल रहा है. इसलिए भगवत गीता के साथ अगर मुझे एंगेज करना है तो मुझे पहले तो उसको पढ़ना आना चाहिए सही तरीके से. क्योंकि भगवत गीता जब भगवत गीता किसने की रचना किसने की है? एनीवन? क्विकली इन द चैट बॉक्स. Who is the creator of the, who is the creator of the Bhagavad Gita? Quickly. अनम्यूट करके ही बोल सकते हैं. वेद व्यास. राइट. सो वेद व्यास जी ने ये जो है भगवत गीता, इन्होंने लिखा नहीं है, इन्होंने उसके रचयिता हैं वेद व्यास. लिखा किसने? क्विकली एनीवन हु नोज, अनम्यूट करके बताइए चैट में. टाइम लगेगा चैट का टाइप करने में. एनीवन हु हैज रिटन द भगवत गीता? गणेश जी. एब्सोल्युटली. ओके. तो भगवान गणेश हैज रिटन द भगवत गीता. तो वेद व्यास जी ने बोला भगवान गणेश को कि मुझे ऐसा, एक्चुअली महाभारत है वो, तो महाभारत की मैंने रचना की है, उसको लिखना है, तो तुम लिख पाओगे? तो उसने कहा ठीक है मैं लिखूंगा. भगवान गणेश ने कहा मैं लिखूंगा मगर मेरी एक शर्त है. बोले क्या शर्त है? बोले जब मैं लिखूंगा तब आप रुकोगे नहीं, आप कंटिन्यूस बोलोगे, तब मैं लिखूंगा. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मेरी भी एक शर्त है. वेद व्यास जी ने बोला. बोले क्या शर्त है? बोले जब मैं बोलूंगा तब आप बिना समझे नहीं लिखोगे. तो उन्होंने ऐसे उसको रचना की. कई कई जगहों पे भगवान गणेश को सोचना पड़ता था कि इन्होंने क्या बोला, उसका मीनिंग क्या है. और वो जो टाइम था तब वो सुस्ता लेते वेद व्यास जी. ओके. सो अगर वेद व्यास जी ने सही तरीके से नहीं बोला होता तो गणेश भगवान त्रुटि करते लिखने में. तो इसीलिए जब मैं बोलूं, जब मैं चैंट करूं, तो लिखने वाला त्रुटि ना करे, वो जिम्मेदारी मेरी है. और उसके लिए मुझे सही तरीके से चैंट करना आना चाहिए. वो बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक श्लोक और देखते हैं हम. वो श्लोक में मैं आपको कुछ बताऊंगा. ये सेकेंड चैप्टर का 24th श्लोक है. ये एक बार साथ में चैंट करते हैं, देन विल मूव अहेड. अच्छेद्यो यमदायो यम.
अच्छेद्योऽयं मदायोऽयम्
अयोऽयम्
एक बार और. अच्छेद्यो यमदायो यम.
अच्छेद्योऽयं मदायोऽयम्
मदायोऽयम्
अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च.
अक्लेद्यो एव च
एव च
नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुः.
नित्यः सर्वगतः
सर्वगतस्थाणुः
अचलोऽयं सनातनः.
अचलोऽयं
सनातनः.
ओके. सो आई हैव, मैंने ये वाला श्लोक इसलिए उठाया क्योंकि इसमें पहला चरण, पहले मीटर में पहला चरण कहाँ समाप्त होगा और दूसरा चरण कहाँ आरंभ होगा, ये अगर हम पहली बार पढ़ेंगे तो हमको समझ में नहीं आता. और ये हमको लगता है ये तो बड़ा जटिल सब्जेक्ट है बोल के फिर हम रख देते हैं किताब, जबकि है बड़ा इजी है. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, हाँ 8 और 8 अक्षर होंगे पहले और दूसरे में. तो अच्छे, मैंने कैसे चैंट किया? अच्छे द्यो यम दा यो यम. तो ये जो म है यहाँ पे चरण छूट जाएगा. ओके, और माँ ये हलंत पे छूटेगा, और जब माँ हलंत पे छूटेगा तो उसमें से अ निकलेगा। तो दूसरा, अब हम क्या करते हैं, हम अपनी किताब में यहाँ पे लोगों को बोलते हैं पेंसिल से इसमें आप मार्क कर लीजिए, माँ हलंत करके मार्क कर लीजिए, और जो अ निकला उसमें से वो अ को आप क के ऊपर लिख लीजिए, क के बगल में लिख लीजिए। तो दूसरा चरण कैसे होगा, अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च, ये ऐसे करके आएगा। ओके, और ऐसे भगवत गीता में बहुत सारे श्लोक हैं, हमारे शास्त्रों में बहुत सारे श्लोक हैं, जो अगर हम सही तरीके से पढ़ना सीख जाएंगे तो हमको मजा आने लगेगा पढ़ने में, उन श्लोक को, उन शास्त्रों को, उन टेक्स्ट को हम लोग एंजॉय करेंगे। अच्छा, दूसरा, ये द्यो के बाद आप जो एस देख रहे हैं, ये एस जो होता है इसको अवग्रह बोलते हैं, इसको अवग्रह बोलते हैं, और ये हमारे शास्त्रों में काफी जगहों पे आता है। इसमें विलुप्त अ होता है, तो अगर मैं इसको करूं अच्छेद्य, फिर अयम, अयम, ये ऐसे होगा। तो यहाँ पे इसलिए इसको थोड़ा सा खींच के बोलते हैं। तो मैंने जब चैंट किया था, मैंने कैसे किया था, अच्छेद्यो यमदायो यम, ऐसे करके। तो जहां जहां पे ये अवग्रह आता है वहां पे मुझे उसको पहले, जैसे द्यो को यहाँ पे खींच के बोलना है, ह्यो को खींच के बोलना है, फिर द्यो को खींच के बोलना है। ऐसे ही लास्ट और चौथे चरण में अचलो यम सनातन, इसको ऐसे करके बोलना होता है। तो I was just trying to give you some construct to make you comfortable. However, the subject is very, very huge and big, and we would like to launch a session on this. Some Ashish ji will talk about it. But मैं before I leave it for Ashish ji, मैं आपको 5 श्लोक के साथ छोड़ना चाहता हूँ। ये 5 श्लोक ऐसे हैं जो हमको हमारे किसी भी उसमें काम आ सकते हैं। तो ये 5 श्लोक हम साथ में चैंट करेंगे, और ये 5 श्लोक लिखे हुए हैं, आप लोग अभी केवल नंबर नोट कर लेना, भगवत गीता में देख लीजिएगा कौन से श्लोक हैं जाके, और ये नोट कर लीजिए ये श्लोक लाइफ में किस सिचुएशन में, दिन में। तो दिस इज वन श्लोक विच वी चैंट बिफोर फूड। सो बिफोर हैविंग फूड हम सब लोग कुछ ना कुछ तो प्रेयर करते हैं। तो हम लोग ये प्रेयर करते हैं, और ये वाला प्रेयर करने से, खाना खाने से पहले, यू सी द इफेक्ट, हाउ इट हैपेंस। और अगर आप समझ के करेंगे तो और मजा आएगा। तो एक बार साथ में चैंट करते हैं सब मिलके, तैयार है?
Yes.
चलिए।
Yes.
ब्रह्मार्पणम ब्रह्म हविः,
ब्रह्मार्पणं
ब्रह्मार्पणं
ब्रह्महविः
ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतम्,
ब्रह्माग्नौ
ब्रह्मणाहुतं
ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम्,
ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम्
ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना।
ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना।
तो ये चौथे अध्याय का 24वां श्लोक है जो हमको खाना खाने से पहले चैंट करेगा, और देखिएगा इसका इफेक्ट एंड एक्सपीरियंस फॉर योरसेल्फ, और हमको बताते रहिएगा आशीष जी के थ्रू हाउ आर यू फीलिंग। नाउ दिस इज द श्लोक विच इज टू बी चैंटेड फॉर डिवोशन। अगर लाइफ में कहीं फंस गए, समझ में कुछ नहीं आ रहा है, केवल काला दिख रहा है सामने, तो ये वाला श्लोक चैंट करिएगा। साथ में करते हैं, अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो माम्,
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तु माम्
ये जनाः पर्युपासते,
ये जनाः पर्युपासते
येषां नित्याभियुक्तानां,
तेषां
नित्याभियुक्तानां
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
नौवे अध्याय का 22वां श्लोक है। बोलते हैं अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम, माम इज मी, अनन्य भक्ति से जो मेरा उपासना करता है, ये जना पर्युपासते, अनन्यास चिंत, अनन्य भक्ति से जो मेरे को याद करता है अर्जुन, तेषां नित्याभियुक्ता नाम, बोलते हैं उसको जो डेली की जरूरत है ना, वो तो मैं पूरा करता ही हूँ। योगक्षेमम वहाम्यहम, जो उसके पास नहीं है वो भी मैं दे देता हूँ, इज व्हाट ही सेज। LIC का अगर आपने देखा हो, LIC का जो लोगो है उसके नीचे लिखा है योगक्षेमम वहाम्यहम, तो LIC क्या बोलता है, इन्वेस्ट इन मी, आई विल गिव यू व्हाट यू डोंट इवन एक्सपेक्ट, जब मेरा पॉलिसी मैच्योर हो जाएगा। ओके, भगवान इज सेइंग व्हाट, भगवान इज सेइंग इन्वेस्ट इन मी, आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ यू, डोंट वरी। तो कहीं भी फंस जाते हैं हम लाइफ में, जब कुछ नहीं समझ में आता है, खड़े होके, बैठ के, लेट के, वॉट एवर, क्लोज योर आईज एंड से दिस, एक बार साथ में करते हैं, अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम
अनन्या चिन्तयो माम्
चिन्तयन्तो माम्
ये जना पर्युपासते
ये जना पर्युपासते
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानाम्
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
चलिए दूसरा देखते हैं। This is to take charge of any situation. This श्लोक is to be chanted to take charge of any situation. छठे अध्याय का 5वां श्लोक है। छठा अध्याय आत्म संयम योग है, द योग ऑफ मेडिटेशन। उसमें भगवान क्या बोलते हैं, उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानम्
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानम्
आत्मानमवसादयेत्
आत्मानमवसादयेत्
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः
आत्मैवात्मनो बन्धुः
आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः।
आत्मैवात्मनः।
ये लाइफ में बहुत बार ऐसा होता है, ये ना इसके कारण हो गया, उसने ऐसा नहीं किया होता, उसने, सो वी कीप ऑन शिफ्टिंग द ब्लेम टू पीपल एंड थिंग्स अराउंड अस। अगर ये नहीं होता तो मैं ये कर लेता, वो नहीं, उसने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया। बट भगवान क्या कहते हैं, उत हरेत आत्मनम आत्मनम, उत हरेत इज टू लिफ्ट, is to lift. Atmanam is self, and Atmanam again is self. So only self can lift self. Uddharet Atmanatmanam. Na Atmanama vasadet. And only self can degrade the self. Okay. Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhuhu. Why? Because I am my best friend. Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhuhu. And he says, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha, and I am my worst enemy. So I have to decide what I am for myself, whether I am my friend or I am my enemy. Okay. So हम कहीं भी फंस जाएं, instead of blaming the situation and people and the events and the things around us, take charge. Take charge. That what is it that I could have done better? Because I can only lift myself. कोई और हमको उठाने नहीं आएगा, ये आप मान के चलिए, लाइफ में कोई नहीं आएगा उठाने। It's only I who will have to lift myself. Then practice what you preach. तीसरे अध्याय का 21वां श्लोक है, यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः
यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः
तदेवेतरो जनः
तदेवेतरो जनः
तयत् प्रमाणं कुरुते
प्रमाणं कुरुते
लोकस्तदनुवर्तते।
लोकस्तदनुवर्तते।
One says that यत यत आचरति श्रेष्ठः, जैसे जैसे श्रेष्ठ पुरुष आचरण करता है वैसे वैसे लोग उसे फॉलो करते, तत्त देवेतरो जना, पीपल जस्ट फॉलो। सयत प्रमाणं कुरुते, जैसे जैसे वो प्रमाण देता है लोग उसी पे अनुवर्तन करते हैं, लोग उसी पे काम करते हैं। So watch out, people are watching for you, people are watching our actions, so hence we should do the right action. So yat yat acharati shrestha, so हमारे action वैसे होने चाहिए that people can follow, that people can follow. And the difference between leader and manager is the same. It's the same. So leader is someone that people follow. Manager is someone who manages the job and the situation. Okay. So if you have to become a leader in whatever I do, yat yat acharati shrestha, I have to lead by example. Okay. And then the last one, which we want you to go through. This is the charam shlok of the Bhagavad Gita. Life में कुछ भी हो जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए, ठीक है, ये श्लोक हमको पता होना ही चाहिए, बिकॉज इट इज सेड दैट भगवत गीता इज द नेक्टर ऑफ वेद, उपनिषद, ब्रह्म विद्या एंड योग शास्त्र, एंड दिस श्लोक इज द नेक्टर ऑफ द भगवत गीता. So the whole of the Bhagavad Gita is there in this one श्लोक. ये हमको तो कंठस्थ हो, ये 5 श्लोक हमको कंठस्थ होना चाहिए. सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य
मामेकं शरणं व्रज
मामेकं
एकं शरणं व्रज
व्रज
अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः
अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो
मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
So Bhagwan says, Sarvadharman Parityajya. Leave everything else that you're doing. Do the most important thing for you, which is right now. Maam ekam sharanam. Rest, leave it to me. And Mary, take refuge in me. Maam ekam, only me. Refuge in only me. Aham tva sarva papebhya. I will moksha yishyami. She says that I will elevate you from all the sins. I will elevate you from, so forget about everything else. Do what is your righteous duty. I will elevate you from everything else. Ma shuchaha, don't grieve. So if you think that your stress levels are high and you are grieving on something, just chant this shloka. And you have chanted the Bhagavad Gita. And experience the bliss of the Bhagavad Gita chanting. And that is why we say that Gita chanting is enchanting. So I'll hand it over to Ashish ji, who can take this forward.
Thank you, Prasun ji. I'll request you to stop sharing. And thank you for such a wonderful session. And there is some comments coming in. Thank you, Mamta. We acknowledge that. And some of you joined us late, but those of you who were there since the start, please rate your energy levels now. You don't need to tell us what it is, but please rate what's your energy level now. And once you have rated your energy levels, which were there earlier before the session started, and now please type the difference that is there in the chat box. We don't need to know the score. We just need to know how much it has moved up, whether it is moved up by 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever that number is. So thank you, VM. Thank you, Ami. Thank you, Rajesh. So Rajesh says his energy levels have moved up by 5 in last 30 minutes. Thank you, Rajesh. Look forward to hearing from others. How much have your energy levels moved up by? Those of you, I think most of you have been there. 7. Wow. Mamta says energy levels have gone up. Dharmesh says energy levels have gone up by 4. 4. Sandhya says energy levels have gone up by 4. Thank you. Thank you. And friends, that's a very powerful message. Don't look at it in terms of just the number. I can hear my thank you, Mamta. That's the impact. Girish says it has gone up by 9. Wow. So, from a low energy level, that's the impact Bhagavad Gita chanting has on each one of us. I'm sure you would have got feeling goose pimples, the goosebumps, and there is so much 5. Thank you. So this has gone up. Yeah, Gautam, we will take question answers in a couple of minutes from now. So what this is not gone up by 4 or 5 or 7 or 9. This is like 40%, 50%, 70% increase. Dr. Jui says full energy levels, right? Now imagine this is one session of 30 to 40 minutes and your energy levels are up by 40, 50, 60, 70, 90%. Would you like to have a program which can help you be in such a high level of energy for the full year of 2024? If you would like to have a program which will help you be in such full high energy levels, please type Y in the chat box. Please type Y in the chat box. Thank you, Mamta. If you would like to be in such high energy levels, thank you, Dr. Juhi. Please, others waiting for everybody to respond. Thank you, Gautam. Please be active. When we are in a high level of energy, thank you, Ami, thank you, Sandhya. When we are in such high energy level state, synchronicities happen, serendipity happens, and manifestation becomes, thank you, Dharmesh, manifestation becomes very, very easy. We are able to achieve what we are wanting to achieve. So if you are wanting to take your life to the next higher level, please stay on. In case you are not interested in elevating your life to the next level, you may choose to exit the session right now. The session is over. The remaining next 30 minutes are for those who are serious about taking their life to the next level. And the beauty is, when you move your life to the next level, it is not only you who benefits. Guess who all benefits when you are in a high energy state? Please type in the chat who all benefits when you are operating from a high energy state. Thank you, Minesh, for typing yes. Who all benefits? Is the benefit restricted only to you? Yeah, family, your family benefits a lot. Your workplace, your colleagues benefit. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Juhi. Family and friends and people around you, everybody. So when you are in a high energy state, you send out ripples of positivity, which impacts everybody. So your being in a positive and high energy state impacts not only you, but everybody around you. So collectively, the energy levels goes up, and it is not only you, but your family also, which achieves more. A lot of times we keep struggling and and keep doing the same things over and over again. And Albert Einstein has this beautiful saying that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Friends, if you want different results in 2024, please do something different. And that is the reason we have put together this Gita Chanting is Enchanting workshop, full 24, 52 weeks, 50-week program in 2024. Every Sunday, we will have a session for 50 Sundays, and every session will cover about 14 to 15 shloks. The program starts on 7th of January 2024. You can mark your calendar, join us from 11 a.m. to 12 noon every Sunday through the 2024. Benefit from learning Gita chanting and elevating your life to the next level. We have kept a small fees of rupees 4,999, which translates into about 100 rupees per session. And the reason we have kept the fees is, some people wonder, ये तो भगवान का काम है, इसके पैसे क्यों ले रहे हैं? But the reason is to have commitment, for you to commit to the year-long program and benefit from it. And it commits you and the speaker both. So the speaker also sets aside his calendar. You also set aside, mark your calendar and commit to this program, which will take your life to the next level. And to make this easier for you to take a decision, there is a quarterly plan also, because some of us may be doing this for the first time. Like, I've read Gita, but I have not learned Gita chanting. So you could also try a quarterly plan, which is for 1,499. And only for today, if you want to start, we are giving you an option to reserve your space, because we are going to take limited number of people by paying 999 rupees, and the balance you can pay later. So you can either Google Pay or Paytm to my number, which is my corporate account number, and 999, 1499, or 4,999, whatever works for you, and reserve your seat so that you can benefit and from this awesome program and commit yourself to raising your energy levels in 2024. You may have a question, I have travel plans, I may be on holidays, or I may have some other commitments, in which case, don't worry. All our sessions, like the session that we are doing today, is going to be recorded, and the recording is going to be shared in the WhatsApp group, so that you will never ever miss, learning from a session. Also, there may be a question, when will be the next workshop? This is the first time in Mindful Living community in last 3.5 years that we are starting this program like this on Gita chanting. So be a pioneer and enroll for this workshop and benefit from it. The next one may be starting next year. So the time to act is now. And just in case you have a doubt whether this is the right thing for you or not, sign up, because our programs, all programs of mindful living, come with a money back guarantee. And after attending first session, if you feel this is not the right thing for you, just let us know and we will refund your money, no questions asked. So once again, sharing the annual plan and quarterly plan for you, 4,999 for a full year program, which will have 50 sessions, and a quarterly program, which will quarterly payment option plan, which will have a payment of 14,999. Just for today, you can reserve your space by paying 999 rupees on the Google Pay or Paytm number mentioned above. I'll request Prasunji to talk about the reference book, which you'll be using for chanting. Prasunji, would like to share with us about the book?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Ashish ji, and thank you everyone. ये जो किताब आशीष जी दिखा रहे हैं, यही किताब हम पढ़ते हैं, ओके। और इसके पढ़ने के फायदे क्या हैं? तो आई थिंक अमी शाह ने हमारे साथ टीचर्स ट्रेन द टीचर्स अटेंड किया था। तो अमी, आप बताना चाहेंगे आपको क्या फायदा हुआ इस किताब से, और ये किताब क्यों पढ़ना चाहिए? आर यू देयर अमी? ओके, कोई बात नहीं। So Ami is not there. So what our learning over the past so many years has been that by engaging with this book, this has all the मूल श्लोक given in Sanskrit. संस्कृत में सारे मूल श्लोक हैं, और गीता प्रेस गोरखपुर की है। इतने सारी भगवत गीता के हमने प्रतिलिपियां पढ़ी हैं, मगर कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ त्रुटियां होती हैं। गीता प्रेस गोरखपुर में एक भी त्रुटि नहीं होती, एक भी त्रुटि नहीं है। तो इसमें श्लोक लिखा हुआ है, तो लेट मी शो इट टू यू फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड। आई डोंट नो हाउ मच यू विल बी एबल टू सी इट फ्रॉम माय बुक। So for example, if you are able to see, there is a श्लोक which is given here, and उस श्लोक, ये श्लोक लिखा है, इसके नीचे उसके मीनिंग हिंदी में दिए हुए हैं। और अगर आप केवल मीनिंग उसके पढ़ेंगे तो आपको लगेगा कि आप उसका जैसे वो क्या बोल रहे हैं उस श्लोक में, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा अगर उसको ऐसे करके ही पढ़ेगा। तो ये किताब, और वो सबसे अच्छी बात ये है कि वो मेरे लिए क्या बोल रहे हैं, बिकॉज भगवत गीता हर एक के लिए हर अलग अलग बताते हैं। तो भगवान तो एक ही है, अर्जुन इतने सारे हैं, हम सब अर्जुन हैं, तो जरूरी नहीं है कि सबकी परिस्थिति एक हो, सबका क्वेश्चन पेपर ही डिफरेंट है लाइफ में, तो सबके आंसर्स भी डिफरेंट होंगे, मगर भगवान एक ही है जो आंसर दे रहे। तो मेरे को भगवान कोई और आंसर देंगे, आपको भगवान कोई और आंसर देंगे। तो अगर हम ये इसमें करेंगे तो इट विल बी वेरी वेरी गुड, एंड हमको ऐसा लगा, और हम यही किताब सबको देते भी हैं और सबको बोलते भी इसी किताब के बारे में। थैंक यू आशीष।
Thank you. Thank you, Prasunji. So, friends, that's the book we'll be referring to. It's available on Flipkart, so you can go and order one for yourself and use that when you join the course. Once you have remitted the fees, please share the screenshot with us so that we can welcome you to the program. In case you would like to remit the fees by using credit card, use the link that we have shared. It has also been shared in the chat, or you could go to Mindful Living website, the link of which is mentioned here. On the right top corner, the facility to pay is there, and you can use pay using the credit card. In case, most of you may be members of Mindful Living community. In case you are not, the added benefit is that you get a complimentary membership to the Mindful Living community, where we invite awesome speakers every weekend from different walks of life, business leaders, spiritual leaders, authors, to talk about the phenomenal work they are doing in their lives. Those who have been nominated as Voices of LinkedIn, those who are directors, those who have done work which has been featured in Harvard Business Review case studies, etc. So a lot of people who come. As I mentioned earlier, we take only limited number of people into every batch. So please ensure that you reserve your seat by paying 999 rupees by Paytm or credit card, or doing a bank transfer, which details of which we are sharing here. You can take a screenshot of this, and you can remit the fees and join the program. We will now open up the session for question and answers. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to take the same from you. Gautam ji, you have a question? Yeah.
No.
Gautam ji, we can't hear you.
तो शायद कनेक्टिविटी का इशू लग रहा है.
Correct.
If you want to, आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ करके बोल सकते हैं गौतम जी. वीडियो के कारण शायद वो बफरिंग हो रहा है आपके. आप वीडियो ऑफ करके बोलने की कोशिश करिए, शायद सुनाई देगा.
Okay. So, Gautam ji, are you back?
Yes.
Yes.
आप वीडियो ऑफ कर दीजिए गौतम जी प्लीज. हाँ, अब बोलिए, अब सुनाई देगा.
Okay. I think there is some challenge.
हाँ.
Prasun ji, anything else you would like to share?
Anyone else with any other question, we can take it up.
Yeah, there are a lot of positive comments, but I think no questions. And if there are no questions, we'll bring the session to a close. As Prasunji has shared earlier, just chanting Gita, and as you have experienced, just chanting the shlokas can elevate our energy levels to a very high level. So please take this opportunity, and for the benefit of your family and your own sake, commit to joining this year-long program and elevate your life to the next level. Thank you very much, Prasunji and Sandhya-ji, for taking out time. And our best wishes to you for making your mission of Ghar Ghar Gita a grand success. Thank you, everybody, for taking out time and joining us today. On your way out, you could unmute yourself, say bye-bye, thank you, or anything.
Thank you, sir. Pranam.
Thank you, Manish.
Pranam.
Thank you.
Pranam, Manish. Thank you so much.
Pranam, sir.